Just know as a church we've passed through a lot, but we don't have to give up. For in any presence of God, the devil is also present, and they don't go together. So we expect a lot of bruises, we expect a lot of temptations, we expect a lot of high and downs, up and downs. So there are things that are bound to happen. In the morning when I came here, I just accidentally opened the book of Job. I was not planning to do that. The book of Job, chapter 42, from verses 1 to verses 3, it says, "Then Job answered the Lord and said, I know that thou canst do everything, and that no thought can be withholden from thee. Who is he that hideth counsel without knowledge? Therefore have I uttered that I understood not things too wonderful for me, which I knew not." As we come here today, we know that this is the same God that we are depending upon for the things that we are passing through. This is the same God who has allowed the devil to teach us these lessons. For we know that when Job passed through the temptations, it is God who allowed. And what did he say? Do that, but do not touch his heart, do not touch his soul. So as much as God has allowed us to pass through this, we know that he's still the one who is able to make us overcome. We don't have any other hope. We don't have any other God. He is the same God who made use of Ezekiel. Ezekiel's life was used as an example, not in a small way, but in a mighty way. Ezekiel chapter 24, verse 16. What happened to Ezekiel? Ezekiel chapter 24, verse 16. It says, Ezekiel chapter 24, verse 16. Just we understand what is happening before we are able to pray, because I believe that prayer will be in faith. For this is what people pass through. Son of man, behold, I take away from thee the desire of thine eyes with a stroke. The desire of his eyes was the wife. Yet neither shall thou mourn nor weep, neither shall thy tears run down. 17. Forbear to cry, or do not cry. Make no mourning for the dead. Bind the tie of thine head upon thee, and put on the shoes upon thy feet, and cover not thy lips, and eat not the bread of men. If you continue reading, the reason why Ezekiel lost his wife is just for the sake of the Israelites. It was used as an example, not because Ezekiel had sinned, not because the wife had sinned, but also the Israelites were supposed to do that. If God were to strike them, they were not supposed to mourn, they were not supposed to do anything. As an example, someone is losing her life. What did Isaiah pass through? The book of Isaiah chapter 20, verses 1 to 4. Isaiah chapter 20, verses 1 to 4. These are the examples that people pass through. Are we passing through the same examples? Isaiah chapter 20, verses 1 to 4. What does it say? In the year that Tartan came unto Ashdod, when Sargon the king of Assyria sent him, and fought against Ashdod and took it. At the same time spake the Lord by Isaiah the son of Amoz, saying, Go and loose the sackcloth from off thy loins, and put off thy shoe from thy foot. He was being told to remove his clothes and also not to put on shoes, if you use simple English version. And he did so, walking naked and barefoot. You can imagine a man walking naked and barefoot. And how long did he do this? Not for 1 minute. Chapter 3. And the Lord said, Like as my servant Isaiah has has walked naked and barefoot. How many years? 3 years. For a sign and wonder upon Egypt and upon Ethiopia. God is letting Isaiah to walk naked as an example, as a sign to the Israelites, to Egypt, I mean, and also to Ethiopia. So shall the king of Assyria lead away the Egyptians prisoners and the Ethiopians captives, young and old, naked and barefoot, even with their buttocks uncovered, to the shame of Egypt. Stephen was stoned to death for the sake of this gospel. Paul later came and died when he was arrested in the Romans and stayed there for more than 2 years. He came and died for the sake of this gospel. Peter himself, Christ Jesus is telling him in John 21 that when you become old, people shall drag you to a place that you don't want. When he gets old, he even says it, that when I die, listen unto the things that I used to tell you. He came and died for the sake of this gospel. Luke passed through the same. Many people are passing through the same. And above all, we see in the book of Matthew chapter 21 verses 35. What happened to this husbandman? Matthew chapter 21 verses 35. Or let us start from 33 so that we understand what the story is all about. Matthew 21, 33. What does it say? It's a parable of Jesus Christ. It says, "Hear another parable. There was a certain householder which planted a vineyard and hedged it round about, and digged winepress in it, and built a tower, and let it out to the husbandmen, and went into a far country." 34. "And when the time of the fruit drew near, he sent his servants to the husbandmen, that they might receive the fruits of it." 35. "And the husbandmen took his servants, and beat one was seriously beaten, and killed another, one was killed, and stoned another. And again he sent other servants more than the first, and they did unto them likewise. But the last of all he sent unto them his son, saying, They will revenge my son. But when the husband saw the son, they said amongst themselves, This is the heir. Come, let us kill him, and let us seize on his inheritance." As servants of Christ, as servants of God, we've been sent into this world. We don't expect much love from them. Christ himself is saying, John 17, we will not read that. He's saying himself that I was hated in this world. So we don't expect us to be loved. Because we know that if Christ was hated and we are following the same Christ, we don't expect that we don't expect that the world is going to love us. Some people will throw us into prison. Some people will kill us, and they will think they are doing the work of God. Matthew 24:9, we don't read that. You'll read that later. Because people will think that they are doing the work of God by killing you. You shall be killed. Even Paul himself is saying that every day we are counted as sheep for slaughter. So if we continue seeking upon this God, Christ himself died and was put on the cross for the sake of our salvation. Let us continue bearing the same. We know that we are passing through lots of temptations. These are there to strengthen us. For when our sisters, for those who don't know, when our sisters, Josephine, Annette, Scovia, shall get out of prison, shall get out of the cells, they will understand that the God they are serving is a strong God. And another day such a thing happens, they will understand that it is God who has given them the strength to come out. When Peter and his colleague was thrown into the prisons, into the cells, they were so confused Even they didn't pray. But the church did not sleep. They stood and prayed. Our sisters